Stephanie here with another Bitterblue video, and today I am bringing you what I read in the month of June. So in the month of June, I wanted to read these books. But what I did read was these books. Now this, plus I did read one Kindle book. I am super proud of this because I have finally broke my 6-book slump, I guess you could call it. I read 7 books in the month of June. All of these I really enjoyed so much. I've got a lot to say about these. So the first book that I read, A Burnable Book by Bruce Holsinger. Now this book is about our main character named John Gower, and he is basically the back in the day Secret Service. He is an information gatherer. So what I thought going into this book, I thought it was going to be like a King Arthur retelling, but what it ended up being was kind of like a Robin Hood retelling. And this is about John Gower, and he is trying to find this particular book that has all these prophecies in it that tell of the kings of the past and the kings of the future about their deaths. And it only has 13 in them, and the last one being King Richard. So it is a race against time for John Gower to track down this book, figure out how the king is going to die, and save King Richard's life. Super fascinating book. There's a lot of twist in it, because there's a lot of like, you think people are your friends, but they're not. There's betrayal, there's treason, there's a whole bunch of stuff, and a bunch of drama along the way. So this book was definitely a very big surprise for me, and I really enjoyed it. The next book that I read, Wake by Amanda Hocking. Amanda Hocking is becoming one of my favorite authors right now, and this is the first book in the Water Song trilogy. This book I so enjoyed. It is about our main character named Gemma, and she is looking to be an Olympic swimmer. She loves the water. She takes nightly swims in the ocean to make herself practice more, and she comes across these girls that show up in their like touristy town, that they're a little too beautiful, they're a little too smart, and they just kind of show up everywhere. And one night she goes and hangs out with them, not really willingly, and the next day she wakes up, she really has no memory of how she got where she was. Everything's kind of foggy. But the one thing that is different about her is all of a sudden she's becoming more beautiful, and she's becoming stronger and faster, and she is now trying to figure out who she is, what happened to her, and who are these girls. So it was it's a very good book. I can't wait till the next one. I thought it was going to be like a mermaid, like a retelling of Ariel, but it ended up being a siren/mermaid story. So very good book. The next book that I read, How I Magically Messed Up My Life in 4 Freaking Days by Megan O. Russell. This book, I knew I was going to enjoy this book. This book is about our main character named Bryant, and he discovers this phone. And this phone is very different because it seems to only work for him, and it like has all these different types of apps on it, and one of the apps that he first uses is the fire app. And this app kind of controls spontaneous combustion like around him, and he has burned down a couple different places and doesn't realize that he's actually doing it until the second building. So very good book. It kind of reminds me of like a Percy Jackson type thing, only instead of being like Olympians, it's more dealing with witches and wizards and magical systems like that. So super cute book, super good book, and I just found out that there is actually more to this series. I am super happy about that because I will be picking that up. The next book that I read, and this one I was not planning on picking up, but it's been on my shelf for a very long time, and they just came out with a new book in the series, and it's like right above my head, and that's Bitterblue by Christine Kishore. is not enough time to be able to tell you how much I enjoyed this book. This book is about, to give you a quick synopsis, this I would consider the second book in the Graceling series. This book, I consider the second book, is a very good book. It is about this kingdom that had a king that controlled like the reality of everybody. Everybody's reality was just a little bit different. They all saw him as this great king, but Bitterblue was one of the very few that could see through his deception and actually like know that he is doing wrong. And this guy's pretty twisted. This king, you find out later that he was torturing people and he did experiments on people, kind of like a Frankenstein type thing. And then he ends up dying. So it is Bitterblue's job, because she is now the heir, it is Bitterblue's job to bring the kingdom back together and to help them heal from this terrible time with her father. And so she is trying to put together what happened in the past so that way they can move forward in the future. And a lot of people don't want to remember the past, so they try to stop her, but she wants to be able to figure out what happened so she can make it right. And it is a very good series. It deals a lot with mental problems. There are definitely people that have PTSD in this, that from having to do what this king made them do in their alternate reality. And it is such a good book, such a good representation of like PTSD and things like that. And I thoroughly enjoyed this book. I can't wait to get to Winterspell, because I don't know what Winterspell is going to be about, because it doesn't seem like it always takes place in the realm of Graceling, but it doesn't really deal with the same storyline. So that is a good twist on every single book. But super good book. Did not expect to finish it, and I did, and I'm super happy I did. And the next book that I finished, And Then There Were None by Agatha Christie. Again, one that I was not expecting to pick up, and I picked it up because it was on my Kindle. It was a shorter book, and I was kind of reading at the same time as I was reading Bitterblue. And that one, I don't usually read those types of books because it was like murder mystery thriller, and it was a very good, very well thought out book that I just can't believe I enjoyed it, because I normally don't go for those types of books. I like fantasy, adventure, guaranteed good ending. And this one is about a group of people that get invited to this island, this mansion on this island. And all of a sudden, people are starting to die off in very interesting ways, very particular ways. And there comes a point where someone discovers that they are dying through this nursery rhyme. And at the dinner table, there is these china figurines that every time someone dies, one of them disappears. So of course people are freaking out about it, which I would be too, and they're trying to solve who is murdering people, because they have found out that it is one of the guests that are there, and they have no clue who it is or what's going on and why it's happening. Later on in the books, you find out that every single person is kind of a shady character, and it's kind of like a vigilante style thing. So I did enjoy it. I did not expect the ending, and yeah, it was a very good book. So I gave it a 5 stars. Did not think I would like it, but I did. And since after reading Bitterblue and Then There Were None, I had to have something a little bit lighthearted, because I could feel myself kind of getting into a reading slump. So I picked up Alanna, the First Adventure, Song of the Lioness. And this book is about our main character named Alanna. And she and her twin brother both want different things in life. Alanna wants to become a knight, and her brother Tom wants to learn magic and become a wizard. But usually the roles are switched. Only girls usually learn magic, and boys usually go to knighthood. So they decided to switch places. Alanna becomes Alan, and Tom, you don't really hear much about Tom, but he has to dress up as a girl where he is at. Super good book. It was definitely something that I needed to just be a little bit lighthearted so I could continue on and not get into a reading slump. And it did exactly that for me. And the last book that I read in the month of June, Red Rising by Pierce Brown. I picked this book up because I was planning on reading it this year, but my husband picked it up before I did, and he said how good it was. And usually he knows my reading style, and he knows what I will like, because not that he like pushes me into things that I don't think I'll enjoy, but like the Star Wars books, I did not think I would like any of those, and I end up loving them. And he said, you'll end up loving this book. I know you will, just give it a try. So I started reading it. And after reading Alanna, it was kind of darker, definitely adult fantasy. So there are some trigger warnings in here. There's a lot of like mental games in this book, and that was a little hard to read at times because I would like set the book down and just get all like cranky about it. But he's like, just keep reading, you'll enjoy it, you'll love the ending, blah blah blah. So I kept reading, and I'm so happy that I did, because this book is about our main character named Darrow, and he is a red, which means he is the lowest class in society, and they have color systems. Red is the lowest, gray is the middle, gold is the highest. And Darrow's job is to mine, he's a miner in the mines of Mars, and his job and his mission is to be able to help with the terraforming of Mars, so that way the future generations can live on the surface instead of underneath Mars. But little does he know that is a lie, and he finds out that the terraforming has already happened. There's cities, there's skyscrapers, there's people that are living above the surface, and they are still being treated terribly and still living underneath Mars. And so of course certain things happen. So in the realm of that, because he is pretty content with his life even though it's kind of terrible, and his wife is not, and they are quite young when they marry. They're about 16 when they marry, 15 when they marry, and she starts trying to revolt against the Golds because she doesn't like the living conditions. She is ready to just move on and be able to live a better life. Well, the Golds don't like that, so they kill her. And of course Darrow is not okay with that. This guy has a temper, and I really appreciated the temper at certain points. So he learns about the terraforming, of how it's already happened and they've been lied to their whole entire lives and generations before that. So he sets out to get revenge and to take down the color system, and it is a very, 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 very good book. I cannot wait to get to the next book. I have the next book. It is somewhere above me, and I am super happy that I picked this up. I'm super happy that my husband read it before me, so I knew I was gonna like it. And Pierce Brown did a very, very good job with this book. So if you are questioning whether you're gonna like it, pick it up, give it a try. I know you're gonna like it. But that is it, guys. That is what I read in the month of June. Let me know in the comments down below what you think of these books, what you think I should read next, and give this video a like and share and subscribe. But until next time, guys, this is a Bibliophobe signing off. Bye.